Good morning, happy Thursday. We are talking about cantankerous, bitter people over the holidays. And the world is full of it. So I'm getting a lot of calls. People are having family gatherings and parties and such. And there's people they don't want to invite, including family members, because of their attitudes and behaviors. And you can't blame them. But, they feel obligated to invite them, and, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And they just need to know, what do I do? So here's what I tell them. As we know, because I have said this forever and a day, happiness is a choice. Every day when we get up, you choose to be happy. You choose how you're going to handle situations. Happiness is a choice. Now, this is what I have done in my life. If I was working in an office like I did years ago when I lived in St. Louis, I worked at a law firm. And if I was having a bad day, you get up and the cat missed the litter box, you spilled the coffee, or you're running late, something. There was a really nice donut shop, and I will give it a plug. It was Pharaoh's Donuts in the city, and amazing donuts. So I would get to work, and then I would walk over to Pharaoh's, and I would we had a very large office, 3 or 4 dozen donuts, and bring it back. So if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to do something nice for other people. They kind of pull me out of that. And it works every time for me. It's just what I do. Because it's just kind of uplifting to make other people happy, and maybe they're having a bad day and they didn't get breakfast or traffic was a mess, and they come in and there's some fresh donuts. I mean, they are still warm kind of fresh donuts. And it was great. And it worked. And I'm glad I'm that way. And there are people in this world who choose happiness as a choice. There are people who choose to be miserable. Many times that is a learned behavior. And that's really sad, but maybe their parents, grandparents, somebody that they were close to or looked up to was just miserable. They griped about everything. It was impossible to make them happy. No matter what you did, it was wrong. Whatever happened, it was never their fault. They are just miserable people. They have never forgiven anyone for anything. They don't have friends. If they do, they have maybe one who's just kind enough to put up with them. They are just miserable. And that's their choice. Totally their choice. So it's holiday time. And people don't necessarily want to invite them to parties. They don't want them at their house because they're going to gripe about the food. They're going to gripe about the music. They're going to gripe about the gifts. They're going to gripe about everything. My advice: it's not your problem. It's their problem. It's a them problem, not a you problem. Do not adopt other people's problems. It's very simple. It's not your problem. If you invite them, fine. If they choose to attend and be miserable, that's on them. It's not on you. Of course, I have had many dinner parties in my day. I love entertaining and having dinner parties and such. And you want every guest to have a wonderful time and to enjoy the food and the music and the company, but it's never a guarantee. And there's generally one person that's kind of on the whole thing. And that's fine. That's their choice. If they're not happy, they can leave. If they came with other people and they're not happy, honey, let me call you an Uber. Seriously. Don't let their misery and just nasty attitude affect you. It's not your problem. So you have Aunt Mary, example, that's coming over for Christmas dinner or, whatever celebration you're having. And Aunt Mary has griped her entire life. Nobody can make her happy. She's just a cantankerous person, very vengeful, very nasty. Okay. And you feel you have to invite her. Invite her. If she says, well, I don't like driving at night, or I can't sit, fine, I will have an Uber pick you up. Well, then I don't trust Ubers. Well, fine, we'll see if we can find somebody to pick you up. Because she's going to try and make you miserable. That's her goal. Misery loves company. If they can swoop in and ruin the party, ruin the mood, ruin the atmosphere, they're going to do it. And we're not going to let them. It's their problem. If she says, I don't think I want to come, don't try and beg them. Say, okay, well, let me know if you change your mind. Thanks. And hang up. That's it. Do not beg anybody to attend your party. No. If she doesn't like a gift that she is given, well, you can always take it back. Well, you can give it as a white elephant gift. Give it to somebody else. Oh, well, I love it. I'll take it. There's all kinds of things that you can do to cut it off. Don't allow someone else's nasty, negative attitude to ruin your day. I have worked with people that were some of the meanest, nastiest people. That's their choice. I didn't stoop to being mean and nasty. They were. That's on them. It's not on me. If you live with someone in your house who is that way. Now, if it's a teenager, we're talking a whole different story, because every teenager has their moments of being mean, nasty, cantankerous, and evil. It's a rite of passage, and you just have to deal with that a little bit differently. If a teenager is going to act out at a family gathering, excuse them. They can go to their room. I'm not saying send them to their room. If they don't want to attend, they want to sulk in their bedroom, let them. That's fine. That's on them. Don't accept responsibility for other people's actions, behaviors, and attitudes. That's a bad thing to start doing, even when it's your own child. Let them be. If they want to be miserable, be miserable. If they just broke up with the love of their life, they're 15 years old and just broke up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend and they want to just stay in their room and listen to music, let them. Odds are at some point they'll come out for food. That's how it works. But don't buy into their misery. Don't let their misery ruin your occasion. Don't do it. This is your night to shine as the hostess or host. Don't let them ruin it for you. So you have cantankerous older people. They may, now, to be fair, they may be in poor health. They may have arthritis. They may have early dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, organic brain syndrome, any number of things. Please keep that in mind and be kind. They may not feel like they want to attend. Don't pressure them into it. They may want to leave early. Make arrangements. People that have cancer can't eat all the same things that everybody else eat. Certain fragrances, and I am speaking as a cancer survivor. I had breast cancer. When you're on chemo, oh honey, smells will get you so fast, and things that you used to love, you can't be around. Foods that were your favorite foods, you can't get near them now. Cut people a little slack. Ask them, what can you eat? I know you're not feeling well. What can you eat? I want to make sure you have a nice time. If they choose not to attend, that's fine. You can always take something to them. Take their gifts over to them. Find out what they can eat or what they can, tolerate, and take them a plate the next day. That's always kind. But ask. That's just being a good hostess. And of course, we always have people. You have, a dinner party for 30 people, 15 couples, and there's always someone, at least one person who is, you have the usual, entrees, then you have the usual meal, and there's at least one person who has decided they're vegetarian. That's fine, because there's usually plenty of veggies to go around. But now you may have someone who's vegan. Okay, think about that and plan just 3 or 4 dishes that would work for them. That's just being courteous, because you don't want somebody to show up and say, because I've had that happen. I've had people show up and say, I don't eat meat. Well, great. There's a couple of great salads, that I'm sure you'll love. Oh, well, I don't care for this, or I'm lactose intolerant. Then avoid the cheeses, because usually I will have something I'm trying to think. I've never made lasagna. I was trying to think of all the dinner parties I've had. I've never had one with lasagna. But, don't make stuff with cheeses if people are going to be lactose intolerant. Ask if anybody has nut allergies. That's just a nice thing to do, but just stop and think before you start creating stuff. If people don't like garlic bread, fix bread without the garlic and have an extra garlic spread that people can add to their bread. I'm not saying to acquiesce and kiss everybody's butt, but if you're going to have a dinner party, be smart. There's people that are going to drink. There's people that are not going to drink. There's people that eat meat and don't eat meat. People that are dieting, people that aren't dieting. So you just have to plan accordingly. But don't let somebody being a cantankerous ass ruin your party, ruin your gathering, okay? Bitterness, being angry is their choice. Years ago, many years ago, I went to school with someone, and I was a very shy person, and I wanted to make friends, but I was horribly shy, bright red hair, very pale skin. It was like a walking stop sign. I was just so pale. And I tried to make friends, and there was a group, the popular group. I really wanted to be in with a popular group, and they just were not going to have it. And I was new to the community. So, yeah, you either knew them from, kindergarten forward, or you just weren't cool. And so it was just misery, how kids can be in school. They can be kind of hurtful. And many years later, I got a note from this person in like 2012, 2014, something like that. And I hadn't heard from this person in 30, 40 years. And I got a note, and they apologized that they were jealous of me. That's why they treated me the way they did. My dad was an executive in the aeronautical in Boeing, and he was in research and development. So we had a nice life. I had nice things. Her parents had nice things, but she didn't have a nice home life. It was very hard for her. And she resented the hell out of the fact that I did. And here I thought, I wanted to be part of that group, and they were just resentful people. And so it really shocked me when I got the note. And, I said, it's a kid thing. Don't just let it go. It's fine. But there are people who will resent you for your education. I have had that even recently. Somebody I know did not like me because, you were talking conversations, and, you talk about your jobs and where you went to school and all of that. And I have degrees, and I have a lot of board certifications, because you have to. If you're going to offer a service, you need to specialize in it and have a certification for it. And they did not like that. They did not like that at all, because they didn't have an education. I mean, they had a basic education. They didn't go to college. So what? You're still a good person. But they resented the hell out of me because I did. People, don't like you because of the way you look, the color of your hair, that you don't have, I'm 60, hell, am I 64, and I don't have a lot of wrinkles. Well, I try and take good care of myself, and I drink tons of water. That's the key. But people won't like you for that. They don't like you for the way you look. If you have a happy marriage and they're divorced and miserable, or their husband's cheating on them or whatever, they're not going to like you. That's their problem. Don't allow it to be your problem. Because no matter what you do to try to be nice to them, it's never going to be enough. They are just a big hole. They're an abyss, an endless hole that can never be filled. The only person that can fill that hole is them, by healing. And they're not willing to do that. Their comfort zone is being miserable. Their choice. God bless. Enjoy your misery. Not our problem. Okay? So have a wonderful holiday season. Regardless of your beliefs, it's still a holiday season. I think everybody, celebrates New Year's Eve. So be safe, be smart. Please don't spend oodles of money on people. Seriously, there are some gifts that will mean so much to people, and it's the smallest things, the absolute smallest things. A photo that you have with them might mean the world to them. Instead of buying somebody some outlandish gift that you're going to spend $500 or $600 on. I gave somebody a book once, and I wrote a beautiful inscription, and that meant the world to them. And the book was maybe a $30 book. It wasn't that bad. But it's the gift, the intent. Okay? It's not about the money. It's about the gift. Have a beautiful holiday season. I love you all to the moon and back. Thank you.